You're listening to Your Terms, the podcast, for anyone done playing by the rules and ready to run life, business, and everything in between on their own terms.
We are your hosts. I'm Rae, a real estate investor.
And I'm Cori, a lawyer.
Raising families, closing deals, boarding flights, and doing it all with style and strategy.
So, whether you're building your empire,
breaking cycles,
or just trying to make it through to Monday, welcome to the space where power meets purpose.
This is Your Terms. Let's get it started.
Hey guys, welcome to Your Terms. And today we're kicking off talking with a topic that lots of people ask us about, which is how do you do it all, or they think we're doing it all, with having traveling and kids and businesses all on the same plate and all trying to make sure we get everything we need to do for ourselves and other people done. So Rae, how are we doing it? Tell me, I forget sometimes.
I don't think we're doing it at all, honestly.
That's right.
I think that we are boarding flights and traveling. We definitely do that. We don't skip a beat. We are taking care of our kids because that is our priority. And we can't do none of the above without business. So unfortunately, I think that we're leaving out ourselves a little bit sometimes. Yeah. I do think that both of us are on the same page in life right now, where we are trying to do a balancing act and make sure we incorporate ourselves. And my values, and don't laugh, is God, myself, my kids, then family, and then business, right? And yet I don't even follow my own values because I skip over myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, I hate to say this, that sometimes I actually even sacrifice the God part. So I do think that we have to focus on what's most important.
Yeah.
And then give everything else, whatever's left to us, because we can't show up if we're not giving ourselves something.
Well, they always say, you can't pour from an empty cup. And we know that. And I think we're both the kind of people who like give advice to people like, oh, you have to take care of yourself, self-care. Yeah. And then when it comes down to it, life gets in the way. You get busy. You get called in 8 different directions. And then what's left on the table is like a morsel.
Yeah.
Just like the eating habits. Like you find yourself like not eating all day because you're taking care of making sure everybody else is provided for. And so we know that you can't pour from an empty cup, but often we don't take that advice. Because when life is moving, it feels weird to stop it, to say, I need something. It feels very unnatural. And I think you have to kind of relearn how to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think traveling started off as fun, but then when life starts creeping up, because I think traveling and how people are seeing traveling, especially with social media, is like, oh, you're just off having fun. Yeah. Listen, traveling with kids, with a business, as an entrepreneur is no joke. You might be 13 hours, 7 hours away from your job. So that means for us, when people are just rise and shine waking up, we have completed a whole day. Yeah. Well, by the time people wake up at home, it's either 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon for us. So we've, handled the kids, done Spanish lessons, ate lunch, explored town, and then now it's time to do work, and people want our full attention. Yes. And there's a big drain on it. So doing it all at
7 p.m.
once,
at night.
and it's 7 or 10 p.m. at
10
night.
10 p.m. night, especially when we're traveling different countries,
yeah.
And especially here. And they think that it's like, oh, we'll get it together. It's 8:30. It's 7 p.m. for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say, how are you managing it with your business? I know you have a team and they're kind of well prepared, but it comes with its own hiccups. So the traveling and business, I guess, how are you approaching it?
So I think here in Barcelona, it's been approached way different. In all the other countries we've traveled together and separate, it was more like a fall behind, and then you get back to work Monday morning and you just work and don't talk to nobody for a week to try to catch up. Here, I do think, I know we're talking about just travel and the business part, I do think that we are doing much better with putting ourselves first, just by taking Spanish classes or whatever, and saying, hey, we're only going to work so many hours a day, and then give the trip a little bit more attention. But I'm balancing it in a very crazy way. I let go.
Yeah, right? I did that too. I was I don't know.
So control was the biggest factor. I did realize that my business was able to operate a lot more by itself than what I thought. but also letting go made me realize where the hiccups was. And believe it or not, letting go made me realize I may let go of one business, right? So sometimes I have multiple businesses. Sometimes you have to let go to say, hold on, I'm holding on to something that's not even working right now. Let me let this go and actually focus on the businesses that are bringing me the money and that are less stressful. The travel part, as far as the business and the travel, I think with Barcelona, it even though working is late, it actually works out because we're able to get up. Even if we don't keep our routine, we're able to get up or go to Spanish class, meditate, pray, get the kids together, get them on the buses, get them to camp and everything else, and focus on ourselves sometime before we have to rush back to the house to do work. So I think that's what I love the most about Barcelona. I don't like working at 7 p.m., but I like how nobody in the United States bothered me until about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, where in Houston is like, you skip your meditation sometime, you skip your workout sometime because you may try to get a little rest and now you got to rush off to work and the phone start ringing at 8 and I start sending her emails at 6:30 in the morning.
Man, she did 5:30. We're like, hello? Who's this for? I mean, I think if I had to grade myself, and probably I'm my own worst critic, I wouldn't give myself like a superstar, like A+, because it was kind of disheveled. It was like rush, have this idea, and then it's like, are we going to do it? And it's like, we're really going to do it. So then everything just kind of had to roll out from that. But I agree. Sometimes you do need space in a business, and travel can give you that space. One, for you to be the creative part of your business, right? Like,
we spoke about
what
that.
are we doing wrong? What do we need to fix? And not in a way that's just like so close to it that is stressful that you can't see it. It becomes more like you become your business consultant and be like, oh, you need to fix that, right? In a way that you can see it, but you're not like in it. And so it was a lot of bumps along the way, and it was a lot of, just trying to make sure people felt like I was still there and I was still supporting them, because the control is a scary part for an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Most of the time, these are our babies, and we treat them that way. We treat them like little babies. And sometimes as entrepreneurs, it's time for you to put your big boy pants on, right? It's put on your training wheels. Then it's time to ride the bike, and you should be able to ride without me. And we forget that part a lot of times when it comes to really think about scaling our business. And so it's given me a lot to think about that I will take some time to put into place when I'm home, but I don't want to forget those lessons. And if you're always thinking about tomorrow, you can't think about like the now, which is, how do I give myself the balance I want? And how do I give myself the time to be the parent I want to be, and the mom I want to be, and the Cori I want to be? And I think it's crazy that we could go through our whole lives. You pick a career early in your life, and then you're expected to like go and be successful. Like this book I was reading the other day, they were like, you have to pick a career before you can drink. If you're 18 picking a college major, and then you just run in this direction your whole life without rethinking it. So having the time to reflect and rethink, and I do like, you're thinking about stuff kind of before the day starts. So you're sending out to your staff what looks like 6 a.m. emails because you've had time to think about it with a clear mind, say, this is what we need to get done today, and kind of give them some insight from a bird's eye perspective instead of like, we're all in the weeds together.
Yeah. I don't think that's what it is. I think I wake up with 10,000 things on my head. I need to get this done, and I want to get it out of my head. So let me dump it here so that I can go on with my day and not even think about it.
Yeah.
So I do think that technique that I do did work for me, because all of my thinking, overthinking, and stress is in the morning time. And by 9 a.m., I'm not stressed out anymore, right? But statistics show that most people have strokes and heart attacks at 9 a.m. on Monday.
Oh, God.
Because they wake up stressed out about how their week is going to be. So I do need to change that. Now, for me, I don't even think I'm thinking about tomorrow anymore. I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I am thinking about is I'm only working 4 hours a day when I get back to Houston, and that's it. Now, if I need to do a lunch, or I need to do some creative thinking, or go out and talk to a client just really quickly, I will. But I do like what I've heard on TV, on one of my favorite shows on Netflix, only show I watch, and what someone told you recently, that Americans live to work, and most of the rest of the world work to live, right? They work to enjoy life. And that's the motto I want to live by. So at the end of the day, I would prefer to get healthier, get myself in a better place, make sure my kids have an even better structure than what they did, and enjoy family and friends other than just traveling. Because unless we're traveling, we don't see each other unless
Yeah.
it's like, can we meet for lunch, or
Yeah.
let's go to this event that is still work no matter what. But take the time to enjoy them and only give work 4 hours of my time instead of giving work my whole life and then giving you guys whatever I have left.
And I do feel like the power hours can be very productive because you come in like, I'm cutting off at this time. So I find that the work that I do is just like, we're going to get it done. It's less like mulling, and it's less you're scrolling social media and just doing the natural distractors that are in life. It's like, I'm going to sit down. I have 10 things to get done. It's going to take 30 minutes and I'm going to get it done. And I find at home, I underestimate everything. I say this is going to take 20 minutes and it's really something that's going to take 2 hours. And then I'm always behind. But here I'm like, really, I can't do that today. It has to move to tomorrow. And you find out that moving something to tomorrow, I'm not saying chronic procrastination, but just like pacing yourself in not a whirlwind kind of way, it's fine too. Like you think, oh, I have to get that done today. And if I don't, like the world will come crashing down. And then you do it and you're like, really, you can wait for tomorrow. And giving yourself and other people reasonable expectations. Like, I'm not going to get this to you till next week. When at home, I will be like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get that to you. Call me tomorrow. And it was like, why do I keep telling people this? Let me start with some expectations of myself and to other people. So I'm like on time as opposed to always like trying to fit in all the things I promised that were impossible to do. Like nobody could have done it in 8 hours or 10 hours that I was working at home.
Yeah. I think there's a couple things that you guys do have to do. One thing about us is we know exactly what you need to do. We just don't do it, if that makes sense. So the first thing that you definitely have to do is plan your day, plan your week out, plan your month out, plan your quarter and your year. I know that sounds dramatic, but it actually works if you do it. So if you think of your goals that you want to accomplish for the year, and then you break them down into the quarter, into the month, into the day, right? And down to the hour, especially if you're going to be like me, I'm only working from 10 to 2. So I'm literally going to put in my voice mode, if this is not between the hours of 10 and 2, please contact this person or that person. I'm not shutting my business down after 2. But I'm not going to be the one that you contact. And in order for me to be able to step away from my business, they have to get used to contacting the next person in line. So make sure you have somebody that's next in line, and make sure you have 3 ways for people to be able to contact you or your assistant, because it makes it much easier. So after 2 p.m., email me and I'll make sure I get back with you by 10 a.m. tomorrow, or send me a text message. If it's urgent, put urgent, and I'll make sure I'll get back to you within a couple hours, right? But I think that I have to start planning, and that's hard for us, because I have to put a to-do list. I have to know we could push so much to the next day, but we still have to prioritize, like, okay, if it's 10 things, what is really not important that can get done by the end of the week, and what has to get done today?
And you know what you start asking yourself? What can someone else do on this list?
Exactly.
That's one of like the
Delegating.
keys. You saying, okay, these things do have to get done and I can't avoid that. But how can I give it to someone else in a way that's empowering to them, where it's not like I'm just putting my work out on you, but here's something we all need to do? Because in a business, a lot of times it's like, it's my business, but really it's our business. You know, this is what pays your paycheck. This is how your life operates as well. So sometimes as an entrepreneur, the me, and the control of it distances people from the part that they have a role in this too. And their role can be life affirming for them. Not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. Nothing about this podcast should tell you run and go start a business by yourself, right? It's hard work and it's just not for everybody. You may not want that, but that doesn't mean you can't be fulfilled. That doesn't mean you can't be successful. That doesn't mean you can't play an important part in making something go round, right? And so it's not just about entrepreneurship. That's a very stressful path to take, right? And you don't have to have the life you want. You just have to figure out what motivates and balances you. And I think if you don't ever take the time to really sit down and think about yourself and pour into yourself, it's going to be very hard to figure out.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest factor for me, sitting down and making sure I fully understood what I was chasing or after right now, because I started off at a very young age chasing after finances, and not like chasing after money because money makes the world go round, but because money, I realized at a young age, gave me freedom. It gave me the choice. It gave me options. It gave me the ability to take care of family, and it gave me ability to be able to stand on my own 2 feet,
Yeah.
right? And then you wake up when you're in your 40s now, hate to say that out loud, but when you're in your 40s now and you're like, oh, I still need money. I still need freedom, but I need peace.
Yeah.
I need joy.
Oh.
I need to be able to actually like sit down and not be irritated at family trying to, ask me questions because I got work running through my head right now. Like, I should be able to put work on pause and be present, which is what most of us entrepreneurs don't do. We're present. We're physically there, but either we got our laptop or we got our laptop in our head trying to calculate like,
tomorrow at 3.
Listen, I hate to say this, but you missed that shot and I could be at work. Like, now we're like, screaming at the kids, right? Screaming at the kids because we're missing out on work and they're missing out on the shot, right? We're here sacrificing, but I do think that it, Barcelona in general, right? Just seeing how everybody is just moving through life and they seem so happy, even if they're not. I don't know. They seem so happy. They seem so joyful. They're moving around with so much grace. It's not super urgency like how it is, when you get into New York or anything like that. And I know that they say it's not as great as what I see it is, but it seems like their stress level is so much lower than ours.
Yeah.
Their crime is so much lower than ours. Like life, I mean, even mental health, I can't see it from the looking through it, but it seems like their mental health is way better than ours too. So maybe like finances, us chasing the dollar and work is what's actually driving us crazy.
Yeah. And the real reflection is how all that works out on your kids, right? Because being stressed out all the time, no matter what, has some impact on your kids, and maybe even how they see your priorities. Because if they say, well, you're here, but you always have to work and you have to work, and that is something my kids already know. Well, I have to go to work. I may not be able to do that. I have to go to work. And it impacts them to the point that we can't see it. And probably years later, you have a honest conversation with your kids and they may say, oh, I thought that was your first priority. And that's heartbreaking because as parents, especially as single moms, we think, okay, you understand the sacrifice and you know that I'm doing this all for you. And so you can have the life you want and you can play basketball in a league and you can, do all these things that I see as, I know the cost to it. You don't have any idea the cost, and all you see or believe is that work comes first and you come second. And so that's a heartbreaking thing and realization.
And we're presenting that. Like, we don't believe in it and we don't mean it, and that's not what we're after. And in our head, we're like, hey, well, no, we put you first because we're doing this for you. But at the end of the day, if we're at work 8 hours and we're rushing to get them from somewhere or picking them up and they're, in this happy mood and we're in this, locked in mood and we're screaming at them or whatever, that's the impact on them. Someone did ask me yesterday, actually, when I was having a conversation with them, we were just talking about, what I do for my children. So we travel a lot. They're seeing the world. They seen mostly 95% of the United States. And now they're actually seeing the world. And I planned before I leave this earth, I pray I could take them to at least 100 countries, which is a lot, right? I'm not doing it just because, hey, I'm taking them to see the world. I want them to understand that they could live in a different country. I want them to see the different cultures. I want them to be able to know what different foods are. Like, we're learning so much just going to different countries and them eating different things. But I also, put them in sports and I do all this other stuff. And someone asked me yesterday, I see that you're taking them on trips. I see you buy them all the essentials and put them in all the sports and do everything. But is that what they want? Right? And that's a good question. Now, I will definitely take heed to that question. 40%, 60% of it is still going to go that way because when they get grown, they're going to appreciate the fact that they know what type of food they're eating, or they don't have to eat the same food every day, or they know different cultures and they can choose a religion, or they can choose where they want to live. It's going to be an impact on their lives when they're older. But I will stop 40% of the time and say, hey, is this something you want to do? Okay, we're done doing it anyway.
No,
That's fine. Not just,
I'm like, oh,
not
girl,
just
tell me,
joking.
tell me what you about to do, because I'm about to.
No, is it something you want to do, and what is it that we can add and take away? And if it's really no meaning, and I'm just forcing them to do it, and there's no impact, positive impact going to be in their life in the future, I will step back and do a little bit less, because I do think that for me personally, not for everybody, for me, 50% of the things that I do is overcompensating, is saying, hey, I've been working, and the best time for me to have mommy time is out of the country, is out of the state, is out of the
Yeah,
whatever.
unplugged.
Or, hey, the dice didn't roll as they were supposed to,
Yeah.
and you're not in a 2-parent household right now. So I'm going to overcompensate that, and I'm going to put you in these sports, and I'm taking here and take you there, right? So I do think what they asked me is amazing. And as an entrepreneur, we sometimes forget to stop and be like, hey, are we overcompensating because we're working so much?
Yeah.
Are we overcompensating because, they have a dad, but, most of the time they're with us. So we're the mom and the dad right now. So we have to ask ourselves that. And that will take some stress off of us too, to be like, hey, you know what? I'm just the mom, and I can't do anything else but the mom. Or at the time I had to work, and I can't feel guilty about it. So I don't need to overcompensate this. And I can't sit here and make you appreciate something that you don't even understand why you should be appreciating, because I didn't explain it to you in a way that I'm telling you to say, hey, we're here to learn culture. We're here to understand this. Instead, we're just like, hey, pack your bag, get on the flight, and appreciate it.
I think having those conversations with your kids is important, even when you're trying to figure out what their path is. And I think we have old kids and young kids, right? Older kids and younger kids. And sometimes older kids probably hate this, because you become a different parent. You're a different person when you parent, my kids are 13 years apart. So I'm a completely different person. So you can't go ask me to go backwards and be who I was with you as a parent. But you see your kids from a new light, and then you get to understand or see like, hey, I thought I gave this to you meaning this. And then when you see the impact on your older kids, you're like, oh, you didn't take that as the meaning at all, or you didn't receive it. And sometimes it's that conversation. So I do try my younger son to be like, look, this is why this is. Like, the answer's still no. Or the answer's still you have to go. But here's why, and here's what the lesson I'm trying to teach you. Now, whether that's just like fodder, do I think he's fully like tapped in and listening like it's a TED Talk? No. But do I think these things will resonate in how things form in his mind? Yes, because I've seen things form in my daughter's mind. I'm like, why do you think that? And it may, you never know where things form for your kids. What seeds you plant, you don't know which ones grow, right? And so you'll have a conversation, I'll have a conversation with my daughter, and I'm like, why do you think that? Like, where did that come from? And it could come from the most insane, to me, small conversation about this or that. And now her life is shaped on it. It's like a value of her life. And I'm like, girl, I did not mean that.
Yeah. I also think that what a lot of people don't realize too is we try our hardest, like when we travel, to not be in the room with our kids. But when we're in hotel rooms and hotels, we're in small spaces with our children. And we actually get to see the things that we may be missing at home, because when they're in their own room or they're upstairs and we're downstairs, we're not seeing it. And I'm talking about small things, from like, where did that scar come from, right? Or, wait, I didn't realize I didn't teach you this. Or, we're out to dinner every day. So it's like, wait, I know we taught you how to remember, Cori's like, if y'all don't take anything away from this, put your napkins on your lap. What did we do wrong, right? Please. And these kids, half of them were in etiquette classes, and, so we get to see a lot of things that the kids are missing that most people don't see on a regular basis, because they're not stuck in hotel rooms with them or out at a dinner table, or even how they walk. We like, why is Bronx walking like that? Because we're walking all day in Barcelona. So a lot of people, because someone told me, if you're traveling all the time, where does your kids have structure at, or where does the structure come from? And I don't think they realize, like, my kids just got back here, but with Bronx and with Jeremiah now, they're going to be up just like school on the bus stop at 8:15, going to a camp that teaches them Spanish, life, sports, and then field trips all the way till 8:00 at night. So there's more structure here than we actually have in the United States, and we're giving them our all. I think the only thing that we probably have lack of or too much of, is we spend too much money. But other than that, I think that this has like been an amazing experience of finding the balance between work, home, and family, and allowing us to check ourselves or check each other and say like, oh, we need to calm down on this or we need to do better on
Yeah,
that.
I agree. I think I could go on and on and on, I think, about the benefits of traveling. But I think what I've learned from like the combo of this, because it's been like the longest duration of traveling, especially with kids, especially young kids, with the anticipation that kids are going to be kids. They're going to complain. They're going to drag their feet sometimes. I think the dinner thing was shocking because at home you may not pay as much attention to like the elbows on the table and the smacking. And when you're in public, you're like, oh, you're embarrassing me.
Yeah.
Right. So you get just a different perspective on a lot of things. And I hope, like you mentioned, the kids get a different perspective on just because we live this way in America, one, it doesn't make it better. Everyone does things differently, but that doesn't mean we are better. Our way is the best way. It's just a different way. And when you know that, when you believe that it's not better, then you don't have an expectation. You don't go places and like look down on it. Or I never wanted my kids to have like the American syndrome where they go into places and be like, turning their nose up at things and people's culture without respecting it. And so I think that perspective of respecting and seeing the differences makes you want to understand your own. And be a little more refined with your own, because especially when the kids go to camp, kids from other cultures and countries are asking and challenging the way you do things. Like if your kids are only around Americans, it seems very natural. But when other kids come and like, no, we don't do things that way.
And
we
kids
don't
are
meet
crucial.
people.
They'll be like, why do you do that?
Right. Or you can't walk yourself to school, or you don't do that by yourself. And so especially because I think Americans can be a little more like, we do more for our kids and don't expect or celebrate their independence as much. And your kids around other kids and they're like, oh, I've been doing that for myself. I walk myself to school since I was 8. And we're like, no, Bobby, you can't go. I'm going to walk you. I'm going to track every step. And so giving kids their own independence and in their own space to develop their personality without it just being so much of us is important too.
That's good. That's good. So we only have a little bit of time left. So I'm going to ask a question. I'll answer it as well. When we go back home from Barcelona, because our time is actually approaching, we only have about a week and a half left, unfortunately, what are you going to do different? Give me 3 things that you're going to change to keep the pace like how you have now or make your life less stressful.
Yeah. I mean, so one is just empowering a team. I think no man is an island, and I've had a team and I have a great team, and they're the reason that I'm still here, but I don't feel like they've been empowered to be as good as they can be. So, taking some of the lessons I've learned here about work-life balance, about, finding space to prioritize yourself, I want to impart to my staff and to my team and grow a little bit. And then I think I spend every morning working out, reading a book, walking. I'm taking those habits back with me and not making, I think at home it's optional, but you wake up, you're stressed out, you get 3 emails. So even just something like putting the phone down and going through those habits without the noise, because at home is noise because it's time. Here, when we wake up in the morning, it's literally midnight at home. So it's quiet. There's no one to distract you. So I think I have to make the choice to not accept those distractions when I get home. And then the last thing is just like family time. I think we've been very intentional about like, okay, when they come home, what do you guys want to do? When it's weekend time and they have some flexibility, like, hey, let's make sure we weave in what you like as well to the week. So I want to do that more.
So quickly, my 3 is I'm only working for 4 hours. I'm not going to work before 10 a.m. because I do need time to do my meditation and walking. I don't want to rush it. One thing Gary Keller taught us was that he doesn't leave the house until he meditates. So even if his first meeting has to be late, he never makes his first meeting important in case he has to reschedule it, basically, right? So we have to set our priorities and we have to stick to them. And our day shouldn't start until we touch bases with God, ourselves, our walk, our exercise, our health, and everything else. And the last part is I'm going to actually start having dinner at a table at least 4 times a week, right? I can't say every day, but at least 4 to 5 times a week with my kids, so we still have those same discussions and keep up the work of, making sure their etiquette is correct moving forward, right? So our things are going to be hard for us. Most importantly, I think that a goal that we both should do together is learn how to plan a little bit more. We are the worst at planning. We will plan at the airport.
We are the best at planning.
Best at planning
Last
minute.
minute.
Yeah.
Me and Bess.
Last
It
minute.
was like,
Last minute.
we're going to go here or there, stay here or
Yes,
there.
yes.
We're
So
the
maybe
best.
I don't think we can give you. I'm gonna talk for both of us. I don't think we can give you 6 months in advance or 3 or 2, but I think we can give ourselves at least a week or 2 in advance to not have that hustle and bustle and learn how to be able to plan ahead with inside of our businesses too.
Yeah.
To make sure that we're not working too much, you guys. You have spent the day with me and Cori just going through our lives and telling you how, although it may look like we have ourselves together on paper, we actually don't have ourselves together in our head. We're still figuring out life like you guys are, and we're looking for you to give us tips. We don't just tell people how we think we should do things. We accept it as well because we're still learning. We're still a piece of work in progress. So if you guys have any questions for us, or if you think of any topics that you feel that we should touch bases on, please send us a message or email us at
info@yourtermspodcast.com.
And we can't wait to see you guys next week. And that's a wrap on this episode of Your Terms, where we don't just talk about it, we live it.
If something resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to live bolder, louder, and freer.
And this isn't just our conversation. We want to hear from you. Come find us on Instagram at Your Terms Podcast and tell us how you're making moves on your terms.
We're building a community, and you've got a seat at the table.